everyone. It has been a while since Kimbra and I have done any videos. We took the summer off and then we have been working on another special project. So we've been kind of MIA from our YouTube channel, but we are back and we are excited to just chat and talk about some things. Pardon my nasally voice. My allergies are acting up as always here in Wyoming.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I can't breathe. But we thought today, or I think I suggested, I don't know how hot Kimbra is for this. And to be honest, it's not really my greatest topic, but since it's so such a part of our culture, we thought we'd talk about the Kardashian family and that kind of pop culture and why they're so popular and
Right. And how,
If you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
right. And how their mom actually built a empire off of a family that,
yeah.
no offense, but didn't really have any certifiable talent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just an example of how, we always say the American dream, and the American dream is supposed to be about hard work. And then that day that Kim Kardashian really stepped on a lot of toes by saying you have to get out of bed and work your rear off to be successful, when she's got nannies and every bit of help you could imagine having. And she really just became famous from a sex tape and being friends with Paris Hilton, which is really nothing of note. That's nothing to be proud of, I would say. And then, they did take off with it. They ran with it and but I wouldn't say that anything that they're doing is of worth to note. In my eyes, it's all superficial. And if anything, I feel like it's damaging our society.
Yeah, I have friends that feel that way. Like my one friend, she won't buy anything from the two younger ones, and any of their products, because she feels like it's her way of protesting.
Yeah, well,
but
it's just it's part. Now, I will say this. When I was younger too, I was more superficial than I am now, but I still had my standards. I would never buy, well, not that I wouldn't buy designer labels, but I wouldn't carry anything or show a label on my clothes or my purse. You know how you have purse have a Gucci label or something. I refused to do that because I felt that was tacky and superficial. And but you get caught up in it.
Status.
Well, and
I mean,
think
some people do.
As the female thing, because they're 5 daughters, right? There's 5 of them.
I believe.
Yeah, there's 5. And being a female is fun. I've always thought that it's fun, and I love makeup and doing your hair and getting dressed up and buying clothes. And so I think they're appealing to the young girls' desire to express their femininity, which there's nothing wrong with that. And being all girl or female is, that's not a problem as far as I'm concerned. But I think they take it too far. And then the plastic surgery. What do you think?
Well, yeah, we were talking about that the other day. It's like, now I've noticed that everybody, I mean, there's always been plastic surgery, right? Movie stars have always gotten stuff throughout history. It's kind of documented that Marilyn Monroe got her nose done, and a lot of people get stuff tweaked. But I've just noticed the new trend is everybody, if they don't like their nose, they automatically, even if it's a cute nose and it's not really that big, they like alter it to some,
yeah, and it looks weird. They look weird. You can
like I met Khloe before, and actually she was really sweet. I got to say, I met her at a post-Oscar party, and I really thought she was a very nice person. So that's why I always say nice things about her. I just had this brief meeting with her, but and she's been very open about her plastic surgery. She said her nose always bothered her and she always wanted to do it. So, if that's a thing too, if something always bothered you, I'm kind of a proponent on, like, maybe getting it fixed, because I know it can change your whole outlook. But it's just, I don't know, it's like that fine line of getting everything done and then everybody looks so fake,
Right.
So,
and I agree with you. If when you're, younger, or even as you age, if you just want to look better and it makes you feel better, go ahead and go for it. But I feel like they're like even changing, like they're making your look a style. Like if
Right.
it's, you have to have the Kardashian nose or the Kardashian butt or,
Right. That's
and
true.
now they've changed the style. Like they had those, I don't know if they had butt implants or what, but it looked unnatural.
Right.
And now they're looking more natural and thinner.
Right.
I
Right. That's true.
saw, and I
Well,
don't
they
know.
did lose a lot of weight. I know, like for
Well, they were
the
doing something that was unhealthy. There's some kind of, I can't remember what it was, but I read it somewhere and I don't know. It's just hearsay, but
mm,
they, to have changed their body that much, it seems unnatural.
yeah, and that's the one that's true too, because they are influencers, influencers for younger girls who really idolize
Yeah.
them. Because I was
Yeah.
taking this class once where I think I told you the story where this woman, she was like about 25, and I said, let's compare. They wanted us to compare very extreme type personalities. So I said, let's compare Meryl Streep to Kim Kardashian, because they're both famous, but for different reasons. And she was like, who's Meryl Streep? And I was like, really?
Oh,
You don't
no.
know. And she wasn't that young, I'm like,
Yeah.
geez, she knows who all the Kardashians are, but she
Mhm.
doesn't know who Meryl Streep is, who's won so many Oscars,
Yeah.
So it's just kind
Yeah.
of funny.
Well, it's like we're creating heroes and worshiping people for superficial reasons instead of really looking up to the people that deserve accolades, that have really invented something that changed society, or that, like our first responders who protect us and save
Sure.
us, and but we worship a guy that throws a football. Not that that's not a skill or a talent, it
Yeah.
is,
And it is,
but
yeah. And
it's not, when you compare the two, who would you rather have? Well, I guess football players are pretty strong too. They can
yeah.
help save you too. But you know what I mean? I mean, something more of note, of worth. And then all these people on TikTok that are becoming famous and making a lot of money just for doing stupid things,
Mm.
silly things. I guess it's entertainment.
It's
So,
entertainment, but that's a whole other subject too, about like too much time on social media. I was watching Bill Maher the other night, and they were talking about that, how they feel like it's really damaging a kid. Like you shouldn't be able to go on social media till you're like at least 16 or something, because it's really, a lot of people are getting really depressed by it, especially women, because they compare themselves a lot to these fake images that you see on Instagram and social media.
Yeah.
I try not to use the filters as much as I can. It's always that fine line of, wanting to look my best, but, putting my best picture up, but I try to be as natural as I can within reason. Obviously I have makeup on and stuff, right? So I'm not that daring.
Because also, that's another form of putting on a fake face, I guess, fooling
Sure.
people. So
Right.
I just I just find it fascinating, and I find it disappointing, I think, for me, because we should be stronger than that and raise our kids to be better than that. I remember growing up, I wasn't the cutest little kid. My mother
Hard to
and
believe.
my aunt used to say, because I was going to say I was never told I was cute, but I
Right.
wasn't that cute. My sister was the cute one. She was just this adorable little thing. And but my aunt and mother both always would say, "But you were so sweet." And
Right,
so
right.
I remember growing up, it was about getting good grades and being a good person. And that was what mattered. And I'm so glad that I didn't grow up being told I was cute or pretty.
Right.
Because it didn't determine my self-worth.
Right. Yeah.
And so I feel like I try to watch it even when I see a friend's kid that's really cute. Try to watch myself and not say, "Oh, how cute you are," because they're so cute. You want to say it, but I don't think
yeah. And that could be
Yeah.
like, if you were always the cute one growing up, and then you turn out to be not so cute adult, then you're like damaged for life.
Yeah. Well, because it would be disappointing. I know, when I started blossoming as a young lady and started getting that kind of attention, it was like, oh, wow, this is fun. You could really eat it up, and enjoy it. But still in the back of my mind, and we've had these conversations before, I wanted to be listened to and heard and respected for my knowledge.
Right.
Rather than just my looks. And I think that served me well too in life.
That's funny, because I was just watching this Paulina Instagram interview that she did, and we talk about her a lot, and that she went to some event, and she wanted to talk about her book, because I think that's what she was there for. And they were like, do you want to be we want you to be in the fashion show. There was some like little fashion show. So she was like, oh my gosh, you know, she thought for sure she was just there to promote the book. And they wanted her for the fashion show. And she was just like, you know, I'm so thankful and grateful that I had that modeling career, but it's just, I really want to be heard, you know? And so she did the fashion show, but she was like, I just was kind of, said she was a little disappointed, but that she said then at the end though, that after she did her little, you know, walk around the stage with the 5 other models or however many there were, that, that women her age said, you know, thank you so much for doing that, because you really made us look good. And so in the end,
yeah,
she said, yeah, in the end, she was like, I'm glad I did it. But anyway, that's just digressing about, you know,
yeah, and that's Paulina Poroskova.
Just beautiful.
Not the former model, the model. She'll always been
be
a model.
Yeah.
And beautiful. But I feel like she kind of she struggles between wanting to always still maintain her beauty and be seen as beautiful and wanting to be heard. And I wish we lived in a culture where we could have both, but sometimes it's really the more beautiful you are, the less, you know, people just discount our beauty and we worship it. You know, we put these women on a pedestal and worship their looks and their beauty, you know, good looking men too. I remember when I dated Joe Lara, which we've talked about him, and he really took an odd turn in life. But when I dated him, he, you know, he had been in that movie Tarzan in Manhattan, and he was just gorgeous. And I remember he and I both were auditioning for a movie. It was about Ma Barker and her sons. And I was auditioning for Amaryllis, and it was down to me and Alyssa Milano. I'm trying to recall. And then he was auditioning for one of the guys, and neither one of us ended up getting it. Alyssa Milano got it. She was a name, and then somebody else. But I remember the casting director, Jerry something, was telling me how he was struggling. He wanted to do more meaty roles. He was struggling because he was so good looking that he had just been pigeonholed. And that might be part of his struggle. You know, I think he had problems with alcoholism. And so being blessed with good looks is not really always a blessing. I don't think. I would think it's probably a struggle to always have people, you know, it's like being famous too, to always have people want you for, I don't know, I guess it's part of you. That's what, you know, these are life dilemmas, you know.
It's hard because I've heard my friends say that, you know, when they go to the mall or whatever, they go to a counter at Nordstrom's and they're going to buy something. And when they don't have their nice clothes on and they're not all dressed up and they don't have their makeup on, people just totally ignore them, you know. And then when they go looking their best, people are like, oh, you know, so it's kind of weird how that's like that, you know, people are more attracted to people that are more pretty or
pretty and done up and, you know, look better and dress nicer. And so it's kind of, like I said, I get tortured by it because I've been superficial, and I always try to look professional and as nice as I can as I get older in business. But then, you know, I'd be happy just to sit around in sweatpants all day with my hair pulled back. So I guess it's just something that a part of our society has created.
Right. Which is part of the superficial thing we're talking about with the Kardashians. Yeah. It's like, you know, but one thing I was going to say when you were talking, I was thinking that Kim actually, I believe, went to law school and got her, I don't know if she passed the bar, but I know she did. And I was like, well, good for her. You know, she must be a lot smarter than we think.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and brains are, you know, not everybody is naturally easily intelligent. I mean, you can't fake it. It's not something you can fake it. It's not something that, you know, if you weren't born a genius, that's not your fault. So it's not something we should judge people for either. So yeah, I guess I've always judged people just by how they treat me and other people.
That's true.
How we treat each other and how we care, especially, you know, caring about other people and animals and what your approach is to life, and instead of, you know, always me and trying to, you know, get the attention. But I feel like I'm not sold on the Kardashians. Kim really turned me off that day when she said, you have to get out of bed and work your butt off. And I was like, oh my goodness, says the privileged princess who got famous from a sex tape. I just really was put off by that. Like, she needs a check. She needs
a reality check. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of weird. Like on one hand, I kind of admire what they've done, not in a way that's of any value, but I kind of admire their, for the lack of a better word, chutzpah. I mean, that they managed it. Like I said, the mom, I was reading this interview with her mom, and she was saying how she used to wake up every morning thinking, what am I going to do to elevate the Kardashians, because she had this master plan, right? And she said every day she was like thinking, what am I, and she had this goal and this focus, and she did it. She's the mastermind behind the whole Kardashians.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't respect it. I'm sorry. I just don't. There's so many other things they could have done. And even once they accumulated their money, they had money, Robert Kardashian made good money. They could have done so many other more honorable things with their money to make more money, as far as,
well, I don't know if,
I think they took the easy way out. That's, being a reality TV star is not that hard. If you're,
I don't really like,
dysfunctional.
I don't really like reality TV myself, but I am working on this project as a producer, but it's like a first time,
But yeah,
thing
it's
for
a
me.
more, I won't say what it's about,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
true.
more
Yeah. It's
honorable.
yeah,
It's
that's true.
honorable what it is.
And it's more intellectual
professionals
to
and
a certain degree. Yeah.
yeah.
And
It's not, let's just fight with each other
that's
and
true.
show our
It's,
trash.
that's true.
The
It's not going to be
world.
trashy. It's going to be done in a very dignified way, and it's going to hopefully teach people things too. But getting back to the reality show, yeah, I mean, so for me, it kind of runs really against my grain because I've coming up studying acting and, really respecting people's talent, music, acting, whatever it is. So, but the American public is pretty insatiable about that. It's like the new soap operas, that's what I think.
Yeah. And it's like, it's like a car wreck. You're looking, it's like not nice. That if somebody's bleeding there, you want to let them have their privacy and their dignity, but you still look because you want to see the gore.
Sure.
And
Turn your
like
head.
you always say, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
It's human curiosity to naturally, want to see how other people live. And it's kind of appalling to think that I guess maybe it's like, oh, I can't believe they act like that. Or maybe a lot of people are going, yeah, that's like my family too. We're always fighting or, whatever it is that they're some kind of drama.
Yeah. And the Kardashians, man, if anybody has family drama, it's that family. I mean, they are the quintessential. I mean, when you think about Caitlyn, formerly Bruce, it's just like,
there's the transgender thing.
Yeah.
Continual revolving door of relationships. And I've had a lot of relationships myself, never found that one, that I was going to stay with or whatever. I think my ex-husband was probably my match, but we were both too young. And so I guess maybe they're also exposing how American lives really are. I don't know many people that live like that or have that kind of life, but
yeah, they're different for sure. I mean, with a lot of money and they were associates of very famous people because the mom and the former dad, Robert, wasn't his name Robert, the one that
Kardashian.
died? Yeah, he was the attorney for one of the attorneys for OJ, right?
Yeah.
And
so then there's that too, that gave them also a head start on the fame thing, and money and
yeah, I mean, it's just it's an interesting family, and gosh, I mean, I don't know how they can even get along. I mean, it's hard enough getting along with your family, but when you're on TV with them all the time,
Yeah, but money talks and they're making money from it.
That's
and
true.
I think they probably, they say reality TV show is not reality.
Yeah, it's scripted. It is scripted.
And so probably a lot of it is scripted, and there probably are real fights that we don't even know about, behind the scenes. But when it comes down to it, they have to follow the script to make the money and money talks. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're going to offer us a reality TV show, Kelly, and are we going to do it?
Remember when we first started this, we're like, why are we going to do this? And what are we going to talk about? We're not that exciting. We're not that,
That's true. That's true. Not that controversial, right?
A lot of drama and excitement. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about all of it. And I think it's a cultural thing that we have to decide what kind of culture we want to have. I just really feel like we've been dumbed down, and I really wish that we cared more about things that mattered.
Definitely. It's true. It's
And
true.
like even imagine the Kardashians, all of a sudden they start a new season and do all this philanthropy. People probably wouldn't watch it.
And speaking of that, I know she does do Kim does. She did something, this charity thing I went to, and they said, oh, she was there last week, giving, I mean, it was a little bit probably self-promotion because she was giving away her makeup kits and stuff, but it looked good. And I know she does do a little bit of.
Well, she's fought to get some people released from prison.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
I remember when Obama was in office, she went to the White House and she fought to get somebody released from prison. I think it was a woman who was really had done her time or done enough time, or it was something unjust. It was like time to let this woman out.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, she's so maybe she is smarter than her show is.
Yeah, and I definitely think she's smarter than her show.
I remember Pamela Anderson saying, I'm not as dumb as I look, or I can't remember exactly what the word was, but it was, or she's like, I'm smart like a fox,
dumb like a fox, you mean, right?
Dumb like a fox or something like that. Yeah. Playing dumb. She milked it.
Right.
Because she's also another very smart woman.
Yeah, she really is. I really like Pamela Anderson. Sometimes I'm going, I mean, I know I haven't made the best choices in men, but I'm always like with her, I'm like, yikes,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of not good men out there too, preying on beautiful women.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess you take what your talents and gifts are and make the best of them. And in the end, what's the moral of this story? I guess the Kardashians.
Well, we want to know what you guys think about, like, do you think the Kardashians, is it good for the young American public? Is it something of value? Is it just, making money for them? What's your opinion of them?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What do you have to say? Is it a good thing? Is it superficial? Is it damaging to our youth? Or is it
false impressions too of like what people should really look like? But then, if you have money, that's your choice if you want to get stuff done. But, do you have a responsibility to younger people to be a little bit more transparent about it? Like I said, I know it was Khloe that said, she talked about her getting her nose done, but do you have a responsibility to your public to not be more forthcoming about stuff that you've gotten done?
A little bit. I feel like we are putting too much pressure on people in the limelight to be role models, because I think
that's a good point.
We should be able to decipher for ourselves what's right for us. And I know young kids are impressionable, but I feel like if parents are parenting,
right.
I could be wrong, because I know some kids are just impossible no matter how good of a parent you are and how much time you spend with them. But I feel like our culture has, both parents working, the kids are just on the computer all the time. The computer's the babysitter, and we're not really parenting them. And if you raise them, the right way,
that's a good point though. It's a combination of it all, It's not just a teacher.
It's true. You could raise them the right way, and then as soon as they go off to college, they, start watching the Kardashians or whatever and get caught up in it.
That's true. So that's true. But if you have a good base and foundation, that's always the best way. I mean, that will serve you in the long run. But it is a combination of everything. It's your environment, your parenting, how your parents are.
And I think the parents are the role models, not the people on TV. Those shouldn't be your kids' role models. You should be your kids' role model.
Yeah.
And I think
that's a good point.
A lot of it is, again, I know there's some kids that are just, going to have the mind of their own, and that's good too, because we don't want a bunch of robots who don't think for themselves. We want to inspire critical thinking, but
right.
I don't know. I'm not sold on the Kardashians.
Okay. Yeah. Are you, that's our question. Are you sold on the Kardashians? Right.
Yeah. What, in our audience, what do you guys think? How do the Kardashians influence our society? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Right. We want to know.
Yes. We want to know. Everybody wants to know.
Right.
So.
Okay. Anyway. Well, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.